Okay, so once your plate is dry and there's not any damp glue on it anymore, then you're ready to do the last step, which is create the rubbing, which is what we're doing instead of making a print. And so to create the rubbing, you want to put your plate down and make sure that the relief side where you glue the cardboard pieces onto are facing up. And then you're going to take a piece of thin paper. So I'm just using thin drawing paper right now. You could use computer paper, would be fine. Other thin paper. If you wanted to try something with like a subtle pattern on it, you could try that too. And then you're going to take your crayons and you're going to create a rubbing. So in creating the rubbing, you want to make sure that the plate underneath and the paper on top do not shift at any point throughout the process. And then you just want to take your crayon and just kind of go over top of the paper, making sure that the relief, messed that one up. So if you mess up, just put your paper to the side, try another one. Okay. All right, and so you can use the crayon on the side, you can use it on the tip, in places, but you want to make sure that you're getting that rubbing and getting those edges where things are glued on. So I do like to go beyond the edge of the plate so you can see the very clear edge of the plate here, and that becomes part of the rubbing as well. I find it's easier to use the crayon on its side. You could certainly like touch up areas by using the crayon on its point. You could use multiple colors. So I'm just using red for this one. I'm just going to kind of shift my hands around as I work, making sure that I keep the paper still and in registration with the plate. Okay, if the paper slides out of registration with the plate, then I'm not going to end up with a clear rubbing. So it can be a little tricky in that way, but I could leave that one like that. I could add another color on top. Obviously, I already moved it, so I can't do that now. Try another one with multiple colors. And so you can mix new colors if you have just like a basic like 12 set of crayons and you wanted to mix other colors by layering colors on top of each other, you could do that. Okay, and so really important, keep that registration. So I could do an ombre with this blue fading into another color. I can layer another color over top of this blue. But I want to make sure that I'm getting the rubbing, that I can very clearly see the relief pieces that I glued onto my plate to create my plate. And so you might need to just kind of scoot your hands around to different areas of the plate, or areas on the paper over the plate, to make sure that it stays in registration. So I'm going to try this color on top. And so I can go in and I can, you know, choose particular areas. Like if I want to go on the edges of some of my relief pieces with this crayon, I could do that to kind of really accent the edges. You know, so there is some, you know, you're doing a rubbing, but there's some different things that you can do through the rubbing to make it more interesting. So I am struggling with keeping the paper kind of in registration with the plate. So it's nice to have some extra paper just in case to swap out and start a new one as you need, as you're going. Okay, and so I would just encourage you to experiment with this step. I would also encourage you to like reflect and see like, well, what turned out good, what didn't turn out good. Like to me, when I look at this, these two shapes are too similar. I wish that one of these triangles was bigger. You know, I could maybe even kind of pry this off and put another one on there if I wanted to, but just kind of reflect on how the process went. And then for the discussion, you're going to post a photo of your plate and you're going to post a photo of at least one of your rubbings to the discussion.